What's going on, fam? This is Devin. Welcome to another session of Application. Application is a vlog style video in which we take time to look at the truths of the Word of God and apply it to our lives. However, this week is going to be a different week. This week is going to be something fun, something exciting. Basketball season is starting this week, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. It is happening. All the basketball heads give a big hallelujah because it's happening. No more preseason, no more waiting around. It is real. It is happening. It is time. And now it's time for us to watch LeBron in year 20 and see what he really does, because it's year 20. And for some strange reason, this man is still doing what he's doing. I'm also 37, and to see me dunk would be a miracle. So let's see what year 20 does, man. But listen, I wanted to talk this week about basketball because I feel like this is one of my favorite sports. It's something happening. And I wanted to make sure I talked with a good friend, because I feel like if I talk with anybody else, my wife will not know what I'm talking about, nor will my sons. But my man, Jumes, over here is going to help me talk basketball. Jumes, what's good, bro? How you feeling, man?
Yo, what's going on, man? That was great to see you, man. It's been a
Yes,
while.
sir.
It's probably been about a year and a half or so.
Yeah,
So
man. Yeah, man.
good to talk to you, my man.
It's been a little bit, bro, but one of my favorite up and coming sports analysts, because I know James is going to be one of those guys in the future, man. My man, hey, tell us what you're up to, man. What's going on with you, bro?
It's about to be a year, but been working at ESPN. I'm on ESPN web team, just kind of content management with that, and so I'm loving it because this is the worldwide leader, and I get to play
Yeah,
a big, pretty important role here. So it's pretty dope. Yeah, we're just moving on up, man.
yeah, man. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up, man. It is good to hear from you. Good to talk to you, man. And listen, we got a lot of basketball to talk, bro. So
Yeah,
let's not hold the people.
at all.
Let's start talking, man. Listen, basketball season's coming up, man. What are you looking forward to this year, 2022, 2023?
All right. So, do you remember when we would be at home and you get home from school and turn on maybe ABC or like CBS and you're watching
Mm-hmm.
your daytime soap operas, right? This is what the NBA season has become. This off season
Yeah,
and going into this season, we have so much drama just lined up for us. And I'm super excited for it.
yeah,
Super geeked to just be able to every day there's something new happening.
yeah,
At the same time, not everything is good, but just know that while the NFL started a couple months ago,
yeah,
NBA has still reigned. NBA has still reigned, and so
yeah, man.
I think one of the things I'm excited to see are how the Nets gel. Ben Simmons is finally back, finally playing, also finally talking a little bit too much for me, but he's back,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see what the Nets look like. I still think that one of their biggest issues is coaching. We love Steve Nash as a
Mm,
player. But as a coach, I don't know if he's been or he can be what they need. And I also don't think that they recognize what they need as a coach.
very true.
From the rumors that we heard about Katie's trade request, he was asking or demanding that Steve Nash and their general manager are out or he's out. So it was either he gave an ultimatum and neither was gone. Neither happened for him. So I'm intrigued to see how that works out for them. I'm also intrigued to see the Hawks. They just traded for DeJounte Murray. Clint Capella has kind of been dangled in trade rumors the last couple of years. Don Collins as well. They're a young team. They're a young and exciting team. I think they're must-watch TV. Uh, but they can either be a top three, top four seed in the East, or they can barely make the playoffs. And so they're somewhere along there, which I'm intrigued about. And then your Clippers. Uh,
You
everyone's
got to keep my
favorite
Clippers in there,
penciled
brother.
in, everyone's favorite penciled in Western Conference foe. I'm interested because I do not think that they will get to the finals. I can see them sneak into the Western Conference final. But I just think that it takes longer. I'm willing to say that they have a year to just gel together. I'm on the record of saying that they don't really have the pressure that the Lakers might have or that your Nets
Okay.
might have,
Okay.
just because they're integrating John Wall, big piece, a big new piece who's been away from the sport for about 3 years. You're integrating Kawhi, who hasn't played in over a year at this
Sure.
point. You're also integrating it's a lot of new moving pieces. I think though they are the most stacked team. Um, I'll give them a year to gel though.
I get you. Let me ask you this, because Let's make it straight. Who's your team, first of all? Let's make it straight so we all know. What's your team?
Cool. So I'm a Heat fan. Been
Okay,
a
there
Heat
we go.
fan for about 20 years almost at this point.
There we go.
But
All
I'm
right.
also a big Steph Curry fan. So
Okay.
I have a lot of stock in the Warriors' success.
Okay, cool. I want to make that clear so that everybody you talking against Clippers. Want to make sure everybody know you are a Heat fan. Okay, just get
Yes.
that.
Yes.
I am. People who know me know I am a Bucks fan. More importantly, I am a Giannis believer.
Yes, sir.
I am an apologist in Giannis. I think he should have been MVP the last 3 years, but I'm not going. I'll leave it alone. I'll be quiet. I just think if you talk about the most valuable player, name me a team that stopped him. Okay, there we go. I'm just saying. All right, go ahead.
My Heat. but he got his lick back. He got his lick
He
back.
got his. There we go. He got his.
But I
there
think
you
let me
go.
say a question. I think Jokic, and this kind of goes into the topic of
Yeah.
last season of awards. I
Right.
think
Yes.
Jokic
Yes.
is as deserving as Giannis has been. I
True.
think those two are by far the best players in the game.
Yes.
At least when the regular season comes about. And I mean, you can't stop 7 foot. You can't stop a 7 foot turnstile.
You can't.
That can score from anywhere on the court. You also can't stop a 6'11" juggernaut who moves like an ungraceful gazelle.
Extremely ungraceful, respectively. Yes, yeah.
But is Stockton and filled with so much strength and power that, man, I think those are your true wonder cats. Like those are your true unicorns in the league.
Yeah,
they can do everything. Yeah. Victor's going to join them potentially, but those two right there, yeah.
Let me ask you this: Jokic or Embiid last year? I feel like you had Jokic. Okay, I feel like Embiid gave me the case for MVP. You can almost say Defensive Player of the Year as well. I think that's probably the reason why he was in the running for MVP, because he was scoring like crazy, 30 plus, but then also gave you Defensive Player vibes as well. Why do you think people chose Jokic over Embiid last year?
So I think a lot of things kind of play a factor. I think Embiid had the narrative working for him, right?
Okay.
You got the Ben Simmons kind of drama.
Yep.
Ben's out or Ben's sitting for half the season. Then you get the trade for James Harden mid-season. Mm-hmm. And he was essentially the same the entire season. In fact, he might have got a little bit better when James Harden came about.
Yeah.
Just because he got to be leading man without any of that drama.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think that Jokic really just keeps doing things that we haven't seen done. There's a prototype for what Embiid did, right? There's your Hakeem, there's your shot to a degree, right? Whenever you would compare those stats, you're like, such and such hasn't been done until Shaq did it. You know?
Right.
However, with Jokic, there was just randomly new numbers. And I think this is what worked with Giannis as well. I think when Giannis had won his first MVP or so, it was like no one has done 27, 11, and 6 ever. You know what I'm saying? With these defensive stats. And I think with Jokic, it was just novelty. And I think you got to appreciate novelty. I think that sometimes novelty doesn't always win out, because Harden didn't win that 2017 MVP.
Yeah.
That went to Russ, even though Harden's stats were just as crazy, if not better.
If not better. If not better. Yeah, I get you.
But Russ had a triple-double, and I guess that was also novelty, right? And so I think Jokic sets a precedent. Also, Jokic had the same thing Embiid had going for him. Wow. His two running mates weren't there.
Gone, yeah.
And and even though they were, I think they finished off the 6th or 5th seed.
6th.
I think it was just novelty. And it's easy to like Jokic too.
Yeah, I get you. I get that.
I think Jokic is still my leading favorite for MVP this season, just because I think they finished. I think they finished with a better record, but I don't think that the voters are willing to give a guy who cares so little about the MVP 3 straight times, and that's the.
He actually didn't care about MVP. I take it back. Maybe he did care about MVP, but like you said, I think that's very key. The visible nature that he didn't seem like he cared that much about MVP will look like, I'm not trying to give it to him again. I want someone who's actually going to care about the award. Like, I feel like that's what it seems like. But then also, I'll give it this too. Maybe this could add something to it. could it be that most foreign players have the same mentality? Giannis came out in an interview a couple weeks ago and says the best player is Steph because he won. Right? He was like, it's not LeBron anymore. The best player is Steph. He's the leader of the team. They won. He's the best player in the world. Like, could it be that Jokic is thinking the same thing? Well, I don't really care about MVP. I want a championship. That's not the biggest thing to me. Like, could it be that those foreign players, and I'm saying foreign players because it only came from a Giannis, a Jokic. I think I heard Dirk say this a long time ago too, that I'm not the best player because I didn't win. Like, could it be that that's just a mentality from like international players, and then over here it's definitely accolade based?
I think European based players, yeah. Because
Okay.
I get to kind of see, and me being Nigerian as well, I kind of
Yeah.
see the difference in how
Yeah.
the African stars kind of based on the European stars. And I think that because Joel wants that actor. Like Joel,
Yes.
you saw Joel essentially almost crying. He
Pretty
didn't cry
much.
publicly, but you know,
Yeah.
Joel cares about it. If you go back, Rudy Gobert actually, who's also French, so he's kind of European sense,
That's very
but he
true.
cared about the All Star
Yeah.
and the defensive
Defensive
player.
player.
So
Yeah.
I do think that with Jokic, Jokic is just bred to like, man, I'm just here to hoop. I don't even know if winning a championship is that important to Jokic as long as he can
Mm.
have fun in what he does.
Okay.
I think Giannis, though, whose name from the moment he became good enough to be in a conversation of an all-star or superstar, I think Giannis has been infatuated. He got the MVP. He was super emotional about that first MVP.
Yep.
But he
Mm-hmm.
was like, we want to bring you a championship,
Championship.
Milwaukee. And so I think for him, I think his mind is greatness, right? And it's kind of
Mm.
been that from day one. I don't know if you saw the documentary or the Rise movie yet,
Yeah. Yeah.
but and so there's that scene where he finally comes into the Milwaukee arena and he's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I want my name up there. And so I think
Yeah.
that greatness has always kind of captured Giannis in that sense. But I think he cared about that first MVP because it
That's
was the
true.
charge from Kobe, right? It was,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, Kobe, what do you want me to do? What's my challenge? And he said,
Yeah.
go win MVP.
Go win MVP.
So I think he cares.
I'll tell you someone who's not great, or a team that's not great. The Suns. What's happening with the Suns right now? Who are the Suns? And listen, no disrespect to the 36ers, but if a team like that comes in and beats me, and I'm in the NBA, the most acclaimed league, basketball league in the world, and I am as good as I am, if I'm Devin Booker, I'm not posting a LeBron meme saying my life is good. I'm just not doing that. I'm going into hiding for a little bit, and I'm getting my life together. Now, granted, basketball is also it's a team sport, so I'm not blaming Devin Booker alone. I'm just saying, for some reason, the Suns don't come up strong as they do either in the regular season or when it really counts the most. What are your thoughts?
I mean, 100% with you. All disrespect to the 36ers because, and I say this because the Suns finished with the best record in the NBA last season, kind of by far,
By
right?
far, yeah.
And then if you look at the 36ers, I think when that game happened, they were like at the bottom of their league of the
Jesus.
so NBL. Like so they were legitimately bottom feeders. You can say Suns got caught lacking, but I just think that they got a lot of internal stuff going on.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, too, because of a lot
Yeah,
of the Robert Sarver stuff
yeah,
has
yeah,
nothing to do with the players. I want
yeah.
to believe. I think if you really go back, Chris Paul is possibly working for the Feds because everywhere he's gone, the owner has been caught lacking, right? But
Somehow, yeah,
so
bro.
he's doing the good Lord's work in that way. But um, I'm not a Chris Paul fan, and
I have not either. Just FYI.
but and also Devin Booker doesn't have a fan in me. I just think that
Really? Okay.
they, as a team, as a unit, as an organization, are a little bit discombobulated,
Okay.
and they're able to mask it really well. I don't know how those relationships are inside that locker room. They might
Mm-hmm.
really like each other,
Mm-hmm.
but you got DeAndre Ayton not talking to your coach for months.
Months. Yeah.
And that's just weird to me because Monty Williams, as a coach, is one of
Yeah.
the most well-regarded, human beings in the NBA.
Absolutely.
We know if you don't know Monty Williams' story, please read it. Please
Yeah.
find out about it. It's a really touching story. It's a really heart moving story. But he's found a piece of success here.
Yeah.
And for you not to be the coach to reach out and say, "Hey, we handled this poorly. I'm sorry for what I did to you. We really want you here." I think that speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if DeAndre Ayton finishes the season in Phoenix,
Really?
which
Even
is
after the
bad.
contract?
Even after the contract, which is
Wow.
sad because he's an Arizona kid. Like
True.
Phoenix is as much as it's Devin Booker's home,
Yeah.
it's Aiton's actual home, you
Yeah.
know? And so but I think that he wants out. I think his family kind of sees, and not that I have any intel in any way, but I think it's a toxic environment. It's toxic to be at a place that you don't want to be.
Very
And you're
true.
going to get blamed. The fan base is going to blame you for not showing up in the Dallas series. They're going to
Yeah.
blame you for not showing up in the Bucks series 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think he wants to leave. I think they find a way to get Miles Turner, or some
Mm-hmm.
B tier,
Mm-hmm.
C+ tier center in that
Mm-hmm.
space. Because you don't need an A level star,
You
and
don't.
not that Aiton's there yet. I think he
Yes.
has a potential to be a really good center, a top 5 center.
Sure.
But you also don't need a top 5 center to run next
No.
alongside CP and Booker. So
No. They
I'm happy.
CP and Booker gives him very easy looks. I think he did show up to the Bucks series. I just think that Giannis embarrassed him. That's just maybe because I'm a Giannis guy. I'm just going to always think that. I think Giannis. If there was one game, I think Game 3, where the announcer was like, "Yo, Ayton just looks scared to shoot around Giannis because Giannis was just like in his face." But let me ask you this, because you said Devin Booker doesn't have a star from you. Is Devin Booker an all-star in this league? Is he a star in this league?
I think he's a star. I
Okay.
think he's a star. Yeah. Hey, I'm just not a fan of maybe the persona.
Okay, that's okay. Got you.
Because it's a lot of, when you think about like Kobe's disciples, right?
Yep.
You have and I could probably list them off real quick, but you got your Russell Westbrook, you got your Kyrie Irving,
yep.
your Jason Tatum, your Devin Bookers, and your DeMar DeRozan's, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And however you look at it, DeMar to me might be the closest, kind of like in that vein of Kobe's style and just kind of Kobe's dedication to the game. And a lot of these other guys kind of just have different elements that they've
skill
copied,
sets,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And DeMar might be the least skilled one, or
very true. Yeah. I get you.
Super skilled though. I just think that Devin tries to evoke this Kobe mantra, that is kind of brash, kind of like, and this really might be him. He's pretty stoic. He's a boring person. It made no sense for him to be 2K's cover
exactly.
athlete for the season, because he's just not a fun guy to kind of be like. He just doesn't present himself as a fun guy.
Yeah,
he's a great player. I think he's super skilled. Can shoot the crap out of the ball.
Yeah,
can get his shot up from anywhere. I just don't think it's fun it's fun watching him.
Yeah.
And so that's just a personal thing, I believe.
I feel like this. You're not the only person that says that, though. So it's not like it's just a one person thing. A lot of people don't regard him as a star in the league, because before Chris Paul, they were like a 10-win team. I'm joking, but they were really low. So I look at it differently. I think Devin Booker hasn't gotten the respect as an all-star yet. Now, I think, yes, his persona is way off to me. I agree with that. I think he's trying to be too much of the negative Kobe, not negative Kobe, but like the strong. He's trying too much to be that, and he's not that. Of course, one, because he's light skinned, but secondly, because I just don't. I don't think he has that personality. I think he's trying too hard to be that. But I also don't think we give him the respect as a player.
Okay.
I don't think Wiggins should have been all-star last year. I think that should have been Devin Booker. Devin Booker at that time was averaging 20-something. Wiggins was averaging, 15? Devin Booker's team was doing better. The Warriors were not. I just feel like at that point, I feel like we didn't give him respect Because
So my
even
pushback
go ahead, push back. Go.
was with the Wiggins thing. And I do think that he's been snubbed as far as All Stars go. Like I
At
think
least
the
2
last couple of
years.
years,
Yeah.
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 But with the Wiggins thing, when the Warriors were blowing the door, like the league, like they were blowing the league out of the water
Yeah.
at the start of the season.
Star season, yes. Mm-hmm.
And where it looked like they might be competing for another 60 plus win season.
Yes.
Until I think the Draymond went down,
Yep.
and then like the Clay reinsurgence or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but those are when like December is when those votes start coming in.
Sure.
December and January. So Wiggins shouldn't have been a starter. I agree.
Mm.
I think All-Star, because by the time the All-Star break was coming out, Wiggins was about like a 17, 18 point starter. Starter, and then was also giving you like defensive,
Defense. Yeah.
like defensive, first, second defensive team type of defense. So I think he had that working for him. I think the coaches might have would have considered him as, because the best team in the league usually has multiple 2 to 3 All-Stars generally.
Yeah, that's true.
There was also a case for Steph to be the only All-Star from Golden State that year. And I do agree, that Booker probably should have got a little bit more shine, but he's just not liked enough.
That's very much
because it's the fans that are voting. It's the fans' weight that matters the most there.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Which shout out to Wiggins, because he went from one of the most hated players
to the most loved.
Yeah.
Hey, I respect him. Listen, I'm not disrespecting Wiggins. If they pick you to be All-Star, that going to show up and be an All-Star. Like just put it on your resume. Yeah. I felt like maybe it's just me. I felt like because of 2 years ago when I think Devin Booker should have been an All-Star, and last year, I'm like, yo, at some point we keep saying he's an All-Star, we keep saying he's good. Can we at least recognize him as good? Because at some point when he gets his coat at the end of his career and they try to put patches on it, it's going to be blank, and we're going to be like, who was he? You know what I'm saying?
Damian Lillard has a coat that is pretty blank to me.
Dame's in the wrong Well, no, I take it back. He was in the wrong conference. Now he could be in the best conference because everybody in the East is the strongest. I just think Dame, man, this is a good segue. Dame may be too loyal. There is a case to being too loyal. When the people around you who make the decisions don't actively show you that they're trying to help you win, not just trying to keep you. That's two different things. If they're trying to keep you, sure, give you the favorite parking spot and Chick-fil-A vouchers, whatever. But if they're trying to help you win, they bring in people to help you win. Jeremy Grant, I love him. I think he's great pickup from Detroit. I don't think he's there to help him win.
Okay.
I don't think that's a winning. I don't think you win with that. Not in the West. I don't.
Okay.
You don't win with Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant. You lost your running mate. I don't think, and I don't think you win in the West with that squad. At this point, you get the money and you keep saying, "I'm not switching teams. I'm loyal. I'm gonna keep do my rapping thing." Bro, you're gonna be there with. I'm not saying you can get a ring anywhere else, but at some point, jump ship. Even LeBron asked him, I think, to come over there. I would have said, if I was Dame, I'd have been like, hey guys, executives, I'm gonna go over here with Bron real quick. I'm gonna get less money, but I'm probably gonna compete for in the playoffs for a championship. Like, I'm gonna try my best. He's not. It's not going anywhere for him. So I hate to say it, but Dame may actually get his end of career coat, and it may be more blank than Devin Booker.
I can see that. I think with Dame, I think the whole illusion of being with one team, the whole like loyalty in the NBA is an illusion. I think it only works for certain folks who had success either early on or like they, the tail end. So you think about your Dirks, who had, it by year 7, by year 6 or 7, Dirk is competing for MVPs.
Yep.
Dirk's in the conversation. Dirk is competing to go to the NBA Finals, right?
Yeah.
By year 3 for Kobe, he's winning a championship. You know what I'm saying?
Two different things. Yeah.
You're kind of experiencing Yeah, and then Giannis, I think Giannis was Dame's like
Yeah,
litmus test
that was
because
it.
Giannis says, "Hey,
Mhm.
I want to stay
Yep,
and bring a championship here."
and he did
I
it.
think
Yeah,
yes, Dame's not Giannis, and I
no,
don't know if he's not supposed to see that though. He's a player. He's a competitive player. You're not supposed to see that you're not as good, you're not as great as person B.
hmm
And so I unfortunately though, it's like, man, bro, it seemed like he was about to be pushed out, or that trade to the 76ers looked like it could have happened
it could have happened.
last
Yeah,
year.
yeah. Hey, it's so hard to say this, but who will get a ring faster? Now this is I'm transitioning here. Who's going to get the ring first, Dame or Russ? Or
If
are
I
we
had to,
talking? Or are we saying none of them are getting a ring? That's what are we saying this?
I don't think either one gets a ring until they
Okay.
become a role player on the bench. I think
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
just based off of what we're seeing, if Dame stays put,
Mm-hmm.
you're running into the Warriors for the next 2 to 5, depending on their young guys, two
Easy.
to
Yeah.
6 years maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And the
so
and the Nuggets
you got the
and
Nuggets, the
Memphis.
Pelicans, the
Whew,
Grizzlies. You know what I'm saying?
it's
You
tough.
got
Yeah.
don't forget, you got a guy in Dallas
Oh,
who who's
yeah, bro.
everyone's for the last 2 3 years is everyone's favorite for MVP going into the season.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay.
you got the Pelicans. If Zion, let Zion give us 60, 70 games. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to tell you. Yeah.
So I don't think that I don't think there's a vein where the Portland Trailblazers win a championship anytime soon. I
Mm.
think with Russ, I don't, I think he's out of LA within the next, this season.
Yeah.
But it's just wherever you go, you just most likely aren't going to be competitive unless you go to the Warriors and you're backing up stuff. Unless
Yeah.
you go to the
Which would be
76,
hilarious.
unless you go, you know what I'm saying? Unless
Yeah.
you go to the 76ers and you're backing up, Harden and Maxey. I do think that Russ has a fit with the Heat. Not and out of no bias, you would be employing at least 3 non-shooters in your starting lineup. But I do think that the Heat are a
Mm.
team built in a way, defensively built in a way, and constructed that you're not going to pour in 130 points on them every night.
No.
You're not putting 110 on them every night.
No.
So if you can play defense enough and have your shooters in Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, this is me pitching to Russ.
I
Hey,
hear
come
you.
to
I hear you
Miami.
pitching. I hear you.
But you'll have your shooters, and you'll just have a culture. And I know everyone likes to bag on Heat culture. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah,
It's
it's a real
it's
thing.
a real thing
It's
where these
real.
guys they're just blue collared workers who are going to come and grit and grind.
They're
It's what
real.
we had in Memphis, grind city, like
Mm-hmm.
grit and grind. Take no shortcuts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Russ belongs in that type of place. Other than that, go to OKC and retire peacefully.
Let Russ listen. Before Giannis, I was a Russ man.
I know.
Russell Westbrook, OKC all day,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah.
And I still think. Listen, I respect him. Top 75. You got to give him that.
Mhm.
I think arguably top 50. Arguably,
Okay. I'm in there.
you know what I'm saying. As far as point guards,
I think
I
I would
think
top 5
ever.
because you had a lot of point guards who didn't win championships, who weren't
True.
important pieces in championships. So
True.
at the bottom of that list is your Steve Nash, which I think
Yeah, I get you. I get what you're saying.
your
I,
John Stockton's.
I get you. I think okay. I think all time point guards. I think in the top 10.
Top 10. Easy.
I think he's probably 8 or 9 or 10.
Okay.
Respectfully. And listen, you're talking to somebody who loves Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Like I tell my children, I want you to be more Russ than Steph. Just FYI.
Really?
Yeah. I need you to be a dog. Go out
Why?
there and just be extra. But and here's the thing. It's like I'm all up to Steph. I know you love Steph. I know I hit a nerve.
That's interesting. No. That's really. I mean, it's just respectable.
I
Though.
get you. Here's my reason before I get to my next point. I appreciate that in any game, in any part of the season, regardless of who you're playing or what your stats were the previous game, you're giving 110% on that court I don't care what people say about you or whatever. That's Russ.
Okay.
And nothing against Steph. I'm not. That's the joke part is the Steph part. I get that. Like, but for me, what I want to be able to say to my kids is, regardless of what people say or what you did previously, when you step on the court of life, man, you give it all. And the one thing no one can take away from Russ from any team he's ever played with is that he gave half of
Yeah.
his goal. He was going after it. So
Well, the Laker fans are finding ways to do that now. But yes, I
the
agree.
Lakers, which takes me to listen. This is the last thing before we start going further. Off-season news: Russ and the Lakers. Let me start off by saying this: Russ was an issue last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was not the reason they were that bad.
Agree.
The Laker fans, Laker enthusiasts, LeBron prophets and prophetesses, they're the ones who are saying it's all about Russ, get rid of Russ, get rid of Russ. When the reality is, if you got rid of Russ, you would have had no stars on your floor.
Right.
The three that came in, well, not three came in, when they brought Russ in, those three played 21 games together. Or 23 games together.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Russ played 78 of 82 games last year. And he was the third cog in the wheel. He didn't come to be the main guy. They didn't bring him there. I know Magic Johnson, bless his heart, but he was wrong. Magic Johnson said that we want Russ to come in and be the run and gun and to run. No, you don't. Not with LeBron and AD. No, you don't. You brought Russ to come in to facilitate, which is not what his main game is. It's never been Russ's game. He is a run and gun volume shooter. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to pass the ball to the wrong person, but that's his game. That's what he's been in every stop he's been into, including the year before when he got them to the playoffs and it was just him and Beal. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's Russ's fault. I will tell you the two things, and I'll give it to you. You can have the rest of the time. Two things. The reason why it was a problem last year. They didn't have any chemistry between the big three. The big three did not play. LeBron, AD, and Russ did not play, but only 23 games. Then secondly, I didn't trust Vogel to take Russ and to put him in a right spot for him to do what Russ does. And that is off the rebound, fast break. He's cutting. He's going to find the open shooter. When you don't have any shooters, what is Russ going to do?
What is he going to do?
He's going to pass to somebody else, and they're going to miss the shot. You cannot rely on Malik Monk to be your 3-and-D guy, because Malik Monk is great, but he's not a 3-and-D guy. And you got rid of all the tall 3-and-D guys. You got rid of Ingram. You got rid of Kuz. You got rid of all the guys that can actually do it. And now you got this top-heavy team, and you really don't have a real backup to Russ because Kendrick Nunn didn't play all year. And McClung, I like him, but he didn't play enough to really solidify a spot. I don't know why it's not fair that people blame Russ, but it's LA.
Yeah.
If this was anywhere else, it wouldn't have been as big as it was. It would have been. It's LA. I think that's the reason why. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I went to guys. I live in LA, by the way. So so I went to my one and only Lakers game this season. I think they were playing the Pelicans, and it was incredulous how every single time Russ touched the ball, there were boos, just rails of boos. And I'm like, I don't even know if you guys are watching the game right now. So I think Russ in that game might have went 2 for 5 from 3. LeBron probably went like 1 for 4 or a little more than that. I don't even remember if Anthony Davis played. I know they lost the game, and I was content that they lost the game. But Russ hooped, and like you said, 110%. Didn't shortcut, didn't cheat nobody. Just played, just contended, tried his best. You know what I'm saying? And so I agree with you. I don't think Russ was the main problem. I think he was a problem. I think AD's knees, AD's backs, Anthony Davis' wrist, whatever it was a problem.
Yes.
I think LeBron's getting older. That also was a problem. I think that the team that you constructed, while on paper looked really good, reality, that was a problem. You had Stanley Johnson, who, bless his heart,
Yeah.
Stanley Johnson became a main player for you, a main point for you.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And so, and then back to your Frank Vogel point, that's a defensive coach who's never had to
Thank you.
had this offensive explosion of talent kind of surrounded him. That's a defensive coach trying to make that work. So I just think there's a lot of just negatives just all around surrounding them. And so unfortunately, Russ is a scapegoat. It's LA. Russ is also the least likable of the three main guys there.
Yes.
I think Vogel got his due. Unfortunately, he was also scapegoated because I feel like he was just placed in a bad situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's a world here where Russ leaves the second unit and you have Dennis Schroeder running with LeBron and AD in a first unit. And you have two competent units at all times.
Yes.
Hoping that, your Kendrick Nunn becomes a catch and shoot guy.
Right.
And is able to, he's great in the pick and roll. By the way, as a Heat fan, I absolutely dislike Kendrick Nunn. So you having this on record that I'm complimenting him is something you'll never get again. But absolutely dislike that guy. And I don't even know if I can pinpoint why. I just don't like that guy. But
leave that man alone, man.
But he's competent. When he's on the floor, he can be really competent. So I do think that this season, barring health, there's a chance that the Lakers actually look competitive.
Better. Yes.
I don't think they transcend the fourth seed. But I can also see them missing the playoffs just based off of injury luck. And so
yeah, I can see the Lakers. I can see them making the playoffs, and then the playoffs become game by game, one game at a time, just because you have LeBron James.
Yeah,
it's LeBron at this point. It's LeBron James. I like if he gets to the playoffs, for some reason that man has a magnet that just brings him to the top tier. I don't know how, but if he gets there, that's one. I just don't know if he gets there and wins.
Sure. I think I want to wager the fact that magnet is wavering away, and I look at I look at what it took for them to get into the playoffs in 2021. LeBron had the luckiest shot he's maybe ever taken. With I saw 3 rings.
I see that. I see
3 rims.
That was the best ever.
Hey man, shout out to him. Build a legend, build a narrative, but. So I think there's that. There's falling short. I think he was really disappointing in that Phoenix series.
Yes.
And I guess that was the last time we saw him in the playoffs. So
last time.
So I'm not scared of LeBron anymore when it comes to the playoffs.
Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute.
Just because as he kicks it up, everyone around him is all you can't. Steph and the Warriors kick it up. I think they can beat the Suns.
Who?
Because I think that the Lakers could beat the Suns in a 7-game series. I think if all the cards are right, I think that because you're just now looking at matchups, right?
Okay, so I get you. Yes, you're right.
The CP3 Russ matchup, the LeBron Booker, they're never going to guard each other.
Yeah.
And I think Lakers are the more they have more depth in that sense. But man, they're not going to stop the Grizzlies from their running gun kind of pace. You're not going to stop the Nuggets unless you have, the size to possibly put on Jokic. The Clippers, come on, I do want to see a Clippers. I think we were robbed of this the last 3 years, a Clippers and Lakers
series.
Because I think that would have been, I don't care for the Clippers winning, but I think that would have been me. You've been to LA, but LA is such a Lakers town.
Very much.
And any Clippers fandom was kind of usually snuffed out. But it's just beautiful. That's a really nice rivalry that I want to see go the Clippers way.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a hater. Somebody tried to get me to watch the Winning Time documentary last week, or the show Winning Time. And I was like, I have no interest in watching it because I absolutely dislike the Lakers. And I can't say that publicly. I had a Kobe jersey in my room.
Oh, see, man. Look, see.
But But like I think the colors yellow and or gold and purple really make my eyes hurt at times.
Oh my gosh.
And so
Oh,
like
I can't take this. What is happening? So
I don't
so
know.
so this
I,
Miami red, white, and gold, that's just better colors for you? Is that what we're
sometimes
saying?
Miami's like pink and blue. So like but what's crazy though is Shaq is also one of my favorite like players all time.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know. So like I liked it when he was in the purple and gold. So like I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
I
just
I
something about it.
I don't know what's happening with you right now. I can't. I'll
Uh,
put it like this: the Lakers can make the playoffs. They can. My fear about the rust on the second unit is you're now employing two different types of units. And in the fourth quarter, when you got to put both units together and make this work, who are you running? Which reading are you running? Because
sure.
it feels weird. It's still Russ has been this good that it still feel weird. Still feels weird to put Russ on the bench in the fourth quarter. It
Hmm.
just feels weird to say that, right?
I agree.
Um, so I'm just like I don't know how this works, but
I
whatever.
think I think you finish with a unit, my mind hasn't been remembering that Patrick Beverly is
Oh
there.
wow, I keep forgetting about him. Jeez, okay,
I think
I
you
forgot.
finish
Yeah.
with a unit where you have Pat, Russ, LeBron, and AD as your
Mm-hmm.
staples on the
Mm-hmm.
court, and whoever that third spot could probably gonna be a guard spot because I think that
Yeah.
you want your Dennis Schroeder who can create for himself, maybe, but you're also lacking the shooting in that sense, right? I'm trying to I'm drawing a blank on who's their best shooter if it's not LeBron, and if it's LeBron, that's a problem. Um,
I think LeBron is still the best. On as far as the Lakers, LeBron is the best shooter. I think. I didn't see any three and D guys. I don't see any guys on their roster that says Lakers. Like I don't see it. I just
so you got a 37% shooter
yeah.
as your best shooter. I do want to say that Anthony Davis is so much more the problem for me, even play style wise, than Russ
True.
is.
I'll give you that.
Just
Yes.
because he's not a great shooter, as much as he has a pretty form, right? Everyone fell in love with his form. He made
Yeah.
that game winner against the Nuggets.
Yeah. Kobe.
But
Yeah.
like I think play style wise, he's an inside guy who might be able to stretch a little further out. I don't think he recognizes that a lot of times. And so he doesn't really have a post game. So I think that kind of creates its own issues. So
Mm-hmm.
I can see a second unit where you got Russ, you got Beverly who can catch and shoot a little bit, and you got
A little
LeBron
bit. A little
a
bit.
little bit. And you
Yeah.
got LeBron, and then you just fill out the parts around them.
Yeah.
Because I think that works a little bit more. But I do get you. You running two units can be a little complicated. You
It's
got to have the versatility to play up or play down whenever.
yeah. That's
Um,
true. Even though I do like Lonnie Walker. I think that was a great
Lonnie,
pickup. I think that was a
Lonnie's a
great
great
pickup.
pick.
That was a good pickup. I just I here the end all be all. I think they'll make it. They just won't do anything. I just
Sure,
that's the Lakers for me.
sure.
All right, let's keep going, man. We got two conferences, bro. We got Eastern and Western Conference. A lot of mix-ups, a lot of changes happened over the
Mm,
offseason. Listen, it used to be for years when I was growing up that the Western Conference was the most feared conference in the league. You talk about with the Portland Trailblazers with Rasheed and Bonzi Wells and Shaq and Kobe. Then you had the Jazz. You had all those. The Western was just crazy.
yeah,
Now, to me, the Eastern Conference, you can rack up about three or four real contending teams in the East. You couldn't do that, years ago, and probably
yeah,
the last couple of years. But I
yeah.
think in the East, you have at least, to me, at least four real contenders who can actually win a
Okay,
championship in the East. And I'll
okay.
give them to you. I think the Bucks, which is my team, I'll always run with them. I think you have the Nets, which I'll get to that. I'll get to them. I think you have Boston, of course, and I think you have the 76ers. My dark horse team that could win, that could actually do something, is the Heat. I think they could actually do something, barring whatever he does with his hair. Tell Butler
He cut. No, it's gone, man.
it's cut it off, right?
It's
I
gone.
saw him
It's
cut it off.
gone.
Okay, now he cut it off. He's back. I just want him.
Yeah,
I don't know what he was
he's a
thinking.
clown. He's definitely a clown because he took all of his pictures for the season, like media
Yes,
day, with the hair,
with the
no
hair.
beard.
He's is so weird. I'm
It's
like,
super weird.
why would he do that? So now every time
He's
I
a
see
troll.
him, I'm like, you're an idiot. You get on my nerves. Those four and a half teams could actually be contenders. And you have to respect, you got to respect Atlanta. I mean, they did make it to the Eastern Conference last year, even though I don't respect, 2 years ago, right? I don't respect Deontay Murray like everybody else does. I think he left the Spurs and got a big hit, personally. I don't know. I know he made All-Star because of the injury last year and all that stuff. Before then, besides being a LeBron apologist, what did he do that actually made him be this guy? I don't know. So Atlanta, sure, that's dark horse. I get that. Every other team on the besides Cleveland. Oh, you guys say Cleveland too, I guess. But that's 7 teams deep if you really want to count them that can actually make it or even have a chance to make it as contenders, not just playoffs, actually contenders. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts for these?
I think those are the list. As a Miami fan, as a Miami apologist, I do have to weigh that Miami's been to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 of the last 3 seasons.
Yes.
It's just always going to find a way to be competitive. But I get it a lot. We didn't necessarily upgrade in the way that other teams did.
Right.
However, we do get the chance at a Victor Oladipo for a full season. And I think, and Miami has been calling that an upgrade. Even when he finally came back last season, we were saying that this was our mid-season trade because everybody wanted us to pull the plug.
Yeah.
And I think a full season of Vic should be beneficial to us, and hopefully Bam and Hero get their upgrades. But I'm not supposed to be talking about Miami right now. I agree, right? Your 3 staples, I want to say, are your Bucks, your Celtics, and your 76ers. I think the Nets weigh as many questions, as anybody else, because they can be 1 and they can also be 7 or 8. That's just kind of the swing for them.
We push back.
Okay.
Were they 7 and 8 because of injuries and things happening? Can we legitimately say a healthy KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, and a stacked bench, and 2 years now for Nash as head coach? Can we say that team should not be 7 and 8 in the Nets?
They shouldn't be.
Okay.
They shouldn't be. However, I think unfortunately, because I was thinking between the Clippers and the Nets, which team's star power is more injury prone? And you can almost pencil, right now, you can probably pencil in 14 games that Kyrie will not play in.
Sure.
Because of injury.
Sure.
You can probably pencil 10 games for KD. Another 12 to maybe season. You know what I'm saying? So, and then right now, Seth Curry and Joe Harris aren't starting this season. So now your 2 top shooters aren't there. And so I think that it can just be injuries are their issue. It won't be because of play. Because those guys, at the same time, Kevin Durant and Kyrie weren't as successful as Kevin Durant and Harden.
No, absolutely not.
And if you look at the numbers of columns, Kevin Durant and Harden were a lot more successful than Kevin Durant and Kyrie. And so Ben Simmons definitely changed that. I think that, and you're big on Ben, as I think I'm big on. It's so weird because I actually do not like Ben.
Really?
But I gotta respect his play style, right?
Man,
I gotta respect it.
He plays. I think honestly, again, people forgot before all this happened with the 7th season, all that stuff. This man was an all-star. Yeah. People were saying defensive player of the year in college when he was at LSU. They were like, "This is next LeBron." So I think you got a new city, a new chance. You got to shoot a supporting cast that are better than you. You do your thing. Yeah. All you doing is shoot, passing the ball to 2 better shooters. That's easy to me. So
just be a role player. I think that's the conversation a lot of folks don't want to have, is that sometimes, you were a star in college, you were a star in this role with this city and this team. Be a role player. Like CJ McCollum leaves the Trailblazers and essentially leads the Pelicans into the playoffs. Yeah. But when this season with Zion there, CJ's your 3rd best player.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
BI and Zion get to be the stars, and CJ just gets to be the old man who gets to run the offense. Yep. I think that's so much key. So I think that if Ben can do that, be a playmaker offensively, forget shooting. Like you do not have to shoot when
You
Kevin
don't have to
Durant
shoot.
and Kyrie Irving, Seth Curry, and Joe Harris are on your
You
team.
don't have to
You
shoot.
do not have to shoot. You don't have to prove that to anybody. Just drive. I mean, like the difference between the Nets and the 76ers offense, you had a Tobias Harris and a Joel Embiid
Yes.
who are okay shooters, right? They
Yes.
can hit a shot, they can
Mm-hmm.
hit shots, but they're okay shooters and they're better off in the mid-range. Like they're better off in the
Mid-range.
space
Mm-hmm.
that Ben is operating from.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Kyrie's going to stand on one wing. KD's going to stand in the corner. And if you swing it to them, they can either shoot or get off, break somebody down off the dribble and just create for themselves. So I think he's in the best situation ever for him. If they're healthy, I can see them at the top 2, top 3 seeds in the East. I don't think they'll be that healthy.
As long as, and I'll always say this about KD. I think KD is still the top scorer in this league. The premier top. I think he's a premier top scorer, not the best shooter, not the best shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best shooter is still going to be Steph. He's just going to get his shot. The premier scorer in this league, like I can get it whenever I want to get it, however I want to get it. That is that 7-foot tarantula. That is freaking KD. I don't see anybody else. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
I was trying to think if there was a counterpoint. I think I agree with you. I think we won't respect Giannis.
We won't respect Giannis like that. Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Or Joel Embiid to that degree, right? And then I thought about Harden, but Harden is kind of taking scoring down a little bit to be serviceable in different ways. So yeah, I'd give you KD.
I would, and again, I'm a Giannis guy. I would say Giannis, but like you said, we don't respect Giannis as a scorer, even though he puts up 30 plus a game.
For like the last 3-4 seasons.
The last 3-4 seasons. I get it. It's so weird. But I just, even me, I look at Giannis and say, I think he's just a really strong man. It's just like, and you just can't stop. When he's coming down that pipe and he's spinning on you, it's like you know what he's about to do. You know where he's going. Mm-hmm. And you still get dunked on. It's just ridiculous. So
yeah, I will say Steph's in that conversation too, the premier scorer. I think KD wins. And I think if you're considering because Steph's outside of realm of shooting, Steph's still giving 15, 17 points a game. Mid range, But I think KD's your answer.
I get you. I think, I give you that. I definitely give you that. I just don't know of anybody else. I wanted to put Tatum in that discussion last year, but he was spotty, and there were some times where it didn't go in all the time. But I think he still
doesn't have a runner floater game. I think that's what takes his game to another level.
Remember when I posted online? I think I was talking to you, and somebody was like, I put like he has no layup package. When I said about when I was talking about Tatum, I was like. Because Tatum was missing. It was points in that series.
It was a Heat series, right?
The Heat series. And I was like, bruh, you're taking the small guy and you're getting there and you're missing a layup? You have no package. And I posted that and you were like, come on, man. Like, you got, like, no. He don't have a layup package, bro.
I agree with you. He finishes so poorly from the rim. At 6'9",
that's what I'm saying.
For you to finish that valley and you have the pack that you have to get, when we talk about the Celtics, I'm not as high as a lot of folks are.
I was about to ask you. Okay, why not?
I think so. One, shout out to Brad Stevens because I think he's built a really great system there that you could plug in any coach and it kind of works for them. Mm-hmm. I think Ime Udoka, as flawed as a man as he was, I think he was a great man for the talent in that locker room. Mm-hmm. The guy that they're bringing in now, and his name escapes me, I think has his own issues that they've agreed to move forward with. Yeah. But I do think that kind of brings a bit of pressure to that team that they probably weren't looking out for or looking forward to. And so with that team, though, like they're going to work. They're going to win a lot of games in the regular season. I think when it matters, though, you got to respect the coach behind you. And I don't know if they have that going for themselves.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think that Jaylen Brown, he's not going to say it, but he felt slighted this offseason.
Yes.
And that Kevin Durant, and it's Kevin Durant, so it kind of makes sense. But I think that Jaylen Brown has continued for the last couple of years, has been pinned as sidekick when he was better than Jason Tatum this last finals, right? So I think that there's an ego thing that kind of comes into play. He's going to hoop. They're both going to hoop. They're going to hoop.
Yeah.
However, when it comes down to nitty gritty, Jaylen Brown's going to be looking at Jason Tatum like, all right, if you don't want to eat, I'm going to go do it. And I think that creates some turmoil.
Joe Mazzulla is the guy that
Joe Mazzulla.
is coming in. He was an assistant coach. Looks like let me see. Yeah, he was assistant coach for Boston's G League affiliate in Maine. Okay. Yeah. I agree with you. I think the loss of Ime may be bigger to Boston than people will try to imagine that or pin it. I think Ime's presence to those young guys who were to Tatum and Brown, I think his presence was a calming, but also a aggressive, you got this, like type of mentality.
Yeah.
Because there were times I saw Ime pull up Tatum like, bro, like, you get him, like go get him. And I'm like, I'm not sure if that happens. If they bring Ime back next year, and the team is still legit intact and all that stuff, I think they have a chance. I do like that they picked up my man from Indiana, that point guard. I can't, name escapes me right now.
Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon. I do.
President.
Yes, I do like that pickup. Now I don't know what that means for Marcus Smart, but I do like Brogdon as a pickup. I think that just means Williams is going to spend more time on the bench. That's just what I think it means. But I do like that pickup. That's scoring. That is playmaking.
Yeah.
And that is now leaving Marcus Smart to guard the 1 or the 2 and not have to be also the playmaker on the other end. Because he got exposed in that last game 6 against Golden State when he was trying to defend and they weren't getting those calls. He was getting exposed. Like Steph was playing with him at that point. You need a Malcolm Brogdon that's just going to shoot, and on the other end, I ain't got nothing else to do with you. It's just you and me.
Yeah,
that's what you need. And you need Marcus Smart to be empty, to just say, I'm gonna go after whoever the mess guy is. I'm gonna be a nuisance, and I'm gonna be me. That's what you need. So I think the Celtics got better. I just don't think with Ime out, I think it's going to be tough for them to get back mentally, unless by halfway mark they like, are we good? We got this. And they keep doing it. I just don't know if it's going to make it there. I'll give you my Eastern Conference pick, my top 3. You give me your top 3 in this order.
Okay.
All right. My top 3 in the Eastern Conference. Number 1, I got the Nets.
Okay.
It's going to be crazy. I know people saying
this is record wise.
Record wise.
Okay.
I got the Nets.
Intrigue me.
I got the Nets. I am very high on Ben Simmons.
Okay.
I've watched preseason by himself and preseason with those 2 guys, and the offense looks so much easier for KD and for Kyrie. Kyrie no longer has to bring the ball down. You got a legitimate passer in Ben who can get you the ball in your spots, and all you have to do is pull up and shoot.
Yep.
For KD, I watched so many of those double screens. KD came off that way, had that one pass right in his hand. Boop. That one leg up shooter, that jumper.
Yeah.
That's money for him.
Yeah.
So I think it makes it much easier. And again, the bench they set the bench up to be better than last year. They're stacked.
Okay.
So that's number 1. Number 2, I definitely have 76ers. I think they're going to be much better than last year. I think they're going to be more confident too.
Okay.
I think Harden is going to take a step up a little bit. He's been talked about and dragged for the last couple of years. That he's not the same guy. He was never been the same guy, but all this stuff. Now he's taking less money. He's a role player. He's there. I think Harden's going to show up and say, "Hey, I'm back," or at least I'm here to help this team win. And I just think Embiid is going to be Embiid in the same just juggernaut. And then 3, I have my Bucks. I think they're going to struggle a little bit without Chris for a little bit. I think when Chris comes back, it's going to be much better. I do appreciate their pickups too. And I think they're going to be just again, Giannis is going to be Giannis. You're not going to stop him. I think he's going to be who he is. But those are my 3 in the East. What's your 3?
I'm making this up now, but I think I can see 76ers. I can see 76ers having the best record in the East.
Ooh, okay.
I think that just because they should have continuity, as long as Embiid stays healthy, as long as Harden stays healthy, you get a full
Mhm.
season of those guys who are really just good regular season winners.
True.
I think you can finish off with the best record. I think 2 goes to the Bucks for me, and it's probably a really close race because I do think that when Chris gets back, I think that that's an acceleration point for them. They're not lacking it in continuity. As long as Brook Lopez is healthy, I think that
Yes.
I think part of the season where that they finished where they finished last season was because Brook Lopez
Yes.
wasn't as
I
healthy as he
agree.
could have been.
I agree.
So as long as Brook is healthy, I think defensively they look so much more better.
Yeah.
You're just waiting on Chris to come back, and I think that I'm trying to remember who they picked up this offseason.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a three guy. Let me put it. I think it was Joe Ingles.
yes.
Yep.
So I think and then Joe Ingles isn't just a 3 guy, but he's also a playmaker. He's also someone
He
who
is.
becomes your 4th playmaking option, who's a
Hmm.
smart player. So I think that works in their favor this season. I
Yeah.
think 3. I'm gonna go with maybe a shocker and go with the Cavs.
Wow.
Cavs.
Okay.
If you recall last season, Cavs were
We're
vying
legit.
for the 2-3 spot for a lot of
Yeah.
this season
Yeah.
until some injuries kind of Jerry Allen gets injured closer to the end of the year.
Hmm.
So Garland was by himself a lot of times,
True.
kind of
Yes.
running with Kevin Love. And
Hmm.
shout out Darius Garland, who probably should have won Most Improved Player.
He should have won
Um,
Most Improved Player. Yes, I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that you get a Donovan Mitchell who I'm not high on at all, right? It's funny because I think I was higher on Donovan Mitchell with that whole Ben Simmons thing back in the day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
higher on Ben, lower on D Mitch.
Okay. Okay.
But he is your scoring, he is your explosive box office kind of scoring guy who's going to win games for you at times. So I can
Hmm.
see them finishing off 3rd seed. They probably are a first round exit, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And then not that we need, but 4, 5, and 6 would probably go Heat, Nets, Hawks for me. And actually, we're doing someone a disservice. The Raptors.
And
The Raptors.
this, we're okay. We're doing 2 teams a disservice: the
Who we got?
Raptors and the Bulls. We forgot that half that year, my man was hurt, and it was just DeMar, and it was just the other young cat,
Zach.
Zach. Yeah, I think. Listen, the
I'm scared
Bulls
for Lonzo.
the Bulls were kind of okay last year. Like to me, the Bulls and the Cavs were this. They were there to me. Like they were the same team to me. Then they both
Okay.
got hurt and things happened.
I'm scared for Lonzo.
What are you scared for?
I don't know if he comes back this season. Because I think the
Wow.
injury. So just following what we've heard and read about the injury, because initially when injury happens, we think he's out for a couple weeks.
Sure.
Just
Sure.
and now it's like he's saying he doesn't even. Sometimes walking is an issue
Yeah, I
for
read that.
him,
I said
and
that. Yeah.
so
Mhm.
so I think this is an injury that because you've invested in this young player,
Yeah.
you don't want to rush it back.
Yeah.
So I can almost pen him for missing in at least a quarter of the season.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I'm fearful that it might be the whole year. Because it's kind of it feels like from the medical standpoint they don't necessarily know
Yeah.
how to treat this or what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Do you think the Bulls will tank for Victor?
they might because I can almost
Can you
I
see him
have
there though?
I think it'd be better than him going to the Spurs.
Please, yes. Please, please.
So I think it'd be better. So, but the thing is here, I think that DeMar DeRozan, there's like a 63% chance he gets traded at some point this season.
Really?
Because they love him there. However, being mediocre isn't something that the Bulls want to continue to do. The Bulls you either want to be really bad or you want to be at the top of the league. And I feel like with DeMar, you're just mediocre in that sense.
Because
Especially
he's
in this
got, yeah, I
East,
get you. Yeah.
especially in his East where he's super good, but he's not
Yes.
as good
Hmm.
as Jimmy Butler when it comes to the playoffs. He's not as good as Kevin Durant or Giannis. He's not as good as James Harden and Joel Embiid. So I think that at some point you probably consider where would he fit. And I think a good team. And I was listening to a podcast recently that brought this up. DeMar DeRozan alongside Luka Doncic.
Would be crazy.
Yeah,
I
because
think
now
that would be, yeah.
you just give Luka someone who can handle himself. Um, Yeah, so that's something I'm
Listen,
intrigued about.
Dallas was a couple plays away from actually shocking the world. Like I was surprised that they, well, again, the Suns are the Suns, but I was surprised that they were going to that they got that far. I was like, Dallas, wait,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah,
What? I was
yeah.
surprised about that, and then of course they ran into a juggernaut. But the other reality is, I do think, I think Luka does need a running mate,
Hmm.
another star running mate, for them to make me feel they're legitimate enough to actually care about them as a team. I the whole Brunson thing. I love the NBA. I just feel like it is the easiest. All you need is one good series, and the
Hmm.
bag is yours.
Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole, 4 years, 120. But Jalen Brunson to the Knicks got the bag, and I'm like, before last year, it was really hard to remember who
Hmm.
this guy was.
Yeah,
But
agree.
for some reason, that one series against the Suns,
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
true to form, he did give Devin Booker the business for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
he
like,
gave Chris Paul like
and he gave
shoot.
Chris Paul worries,
Uh,
man. Jeez. Um, I'm just like, I mean, I get it, but I'm also like the Knicks. You spent that much on Jalen Brunson. I don't think it changes who they are at all. The Knicks, just FYI. I just
yeah,
don't think that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so we did leave out Toronto. You think what for them? What do you think for them?
So they're also a team that I can see finishing as high as 2 or 3,
Okay,
which
wow,
is really
okay,
high,
yeah,
and as low as 7, 6.
yeah, definitely
That's
playoffs though.
The East is super stacked.
Stack.
And if you we got Nets, Bucks, 76ers, Hawks, Heat, Toronto, the Bulls, Cavs.
Cavs, yeah,
So there's 8 teams. So those should be the 8 teams. But
in the
then
playoffs, yeah.
you're also thinking about how good can the Hornets be at some point with
I was thinking
LaMelo.
that, yeah,
How good can the Magic, who they have a lot of young pieces, but the Magic were in the playoffs just 2, 3 years ago, right? Like
they were,
they're
yeah,
not far removed from the playoffs.
yeah,
So one of these teams, two of these teams are going to miss the playoffs. I'm hoping these are our 10. And then think about the Wizards were also kind of vying for a playing spot, you know? Um, but I can see the Raptors. That's why I can see the Nets finishing so low. Because there's really good teams that are just going to be healthier throughout the entire season.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
I get you.
so you gotta watch out for that. I think that the Nets can't perform with like they can't have a repeat of last season's playoff.
No, no.
And
If
I want to blame it on Kyrie fasting for Ramadan, but that's not even viable. You know what I'm saying? Because you play. If you're
because you
there,
play
you're playing.
ball, you play.
Yeah.
I just
So
listen. If they get swept again, or shoot, if it's even 4-1,
you,
the legacy of Kyrie and KD separate, not if they get together, even separately, would be so tarnished.
oh yeah.
You don't go to the playoffs and be as good as you are and get swept one year, and
Hmm.
then even though yes, by the Celtics who are a better team, I believe at the time,
Right. Right.
but still swept in the first round. Nah,
Hmm.
bro. And you were
Hmm.
healthy. Nah, bro. That's
Hmm.
that's just you don't that don't happen. But
Yeah.
I will say this before I go to the Western Conference. RIP Bradley Beal. I love him. Um I think he made a big mistake.
RIP
I
is crazy.
RIP Bradley Beal. I
Wow.
the Wizards will go down in infamy as the team that could have and should have but never did.
Yep.
I
Yep.
I I
I agree.
I'm so sad with Brad. He got the bag, 5 year, 250, whatever. Like, hey, amen to that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and unless you get traded or something happens, bro,
Ain't nobody
that's
taking that contract.
ain't nobody taking that contract, bro. Hey, no, that
Yeah.
contract is set. You gonna be in Washington D.C. for 5 years.
Unless the Lakers re-sign Russ for that same deal, and you can somehow finagle Brad for Russ, yeah, that
How,
shit.
in what world?
In what world, right? So
what world?
yeah.
There are two conferences in the NBA, Eastern and Western. I'll give you my dark horse before I give you my top three. My dark horse team is the
To
Pelicans.
to win to be number one
No,
or
no, no,
to
no. Let me. I guess to be top three, in the
okay,
West.
okay.
I think the Pelicans is my dark horse for top three in the West. I think the Pelicans are going to surprise the NBA. with Zion back and looking slimmer and meaner, and as I must say, if that young man plays when he was playing last year before he got hurt, he was averaging 20 and 10. Like he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add BI. I think that pickup with McCullough was great. McCullough, I just think they have what it takes, and they got some experience too. They're not too young. They got experience. You put them in front of a team. I would love to see a series between the Pelicans and the Grizzlies. Okay, I think that would be a fun series. It's just first of all, I want to see BI and Jum Morant get at it. That would be hilarious to me. But they would be great. I think that would be awesome. I think Pelicans top 3 in the West. What do you say?
I'm not that high.
Okay. Respect.
I'm not that high. I'm pretty high because I just always want to try to factor in injuries to some degree.
Okay.
And just based off of health patterns, maybe even just resting Zion starting now might even make some sense.
Sure.
But I can see them as high as 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a good spot because I think that for them, you just need the experience, right? You just need a full Zion. BI, I probably like BI more than I like Zion, just because I think he's a little bit more versatile. And even from a defensive standpoint, I trust BI a little bit more than I trust Zion.
Okay.
But you gotta like that team around him. Jonas Valanciunas he was leading the league in 3-point percentage at some point last year. But just a 20 and 20 guy at any given day.
Yeah.
You got your off your bench. I can't remember dude's name, but he was the Hornets guy. I can't remember his name right now. Devontae Graham.
Yeah.
Devontae Graham.
Yeah.
Who is now forming into his role as just a role playing 3-point playmaker.
Yeah.
Which matters for the different units you can have. You can replicate CJ's game to a little bit from that standpoint. So I think they have a lot of just a fluid kind of offense, a fluid kind of team available for them, and I think that'll be exciting to see. I do like the Grizzlies in that sense too, but I think Grizzlies don't start the season with JJJ,
which is
something that's going to, I think, hamper them a little bit.
Yeah,
I would go top 3. Did you give your top 3 actually?
No, go give yours.
Top 3, I'd go Nuggets.
Oh,
Warriors, wow. Nuggets, Warriors, and
don't say it.
Let's go Phoenix. Let's go Phoenix. And here's the thing. I'll start from the bottom up. Phoenix are your Peyton Mannings.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to, because they're at the regular season. They're one team. They're going to try hard.
100%.
The entire regular season, because they're also vying, unfortunately, for all 3 of those main guys there. They're vying for everybody's respect. While CP3 has everyone's respect, he's still trying to prove that everybody respects him. He's a dirty player to me.
Is he the point guard or not? I don't know.
We got Luka, who's all right. Let me stop.
Okay,
but I think that everyone there is vying for the respect of their counterparts. They're vying for the respect of the media. So I think they're going to try hard, try to compete for awards, maybe. So this is maybe a year where Booker, who finished, I think, 4th or 5th last season on the MVP rate, might try to finish a little higher. He might try to be a 30-point per game scorer.
Yeah.
CP's trying to average another double-double. And Ayton, whatever he's worth, is just trying to prove that, look, I'm better than what these guys think.
I'm better. Right. Yeah.
And so I think they try hard. I think that the Warriors finished 2 only because they're trying to gel a little more. But that's a team that has the momentum from last year. You lost, Otto Porter and Gary Payton. Gary Payton is the 3rd.
I think key pieces.
Gary Payton the 2nd, sorry.
Yeah.
Very key pieces, but you replace that with Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah, DiVincenzo. Yeah, I got you.
You place that with DiVincenzo.
Respect,
and then you also have Jordan Poole, who's coming into year 4, just kind of like, look, like, I don't even have to prove it anymore. I'm here, so I get to just hoop. And then not only that, I got the benefit of everybody being on my side because of the Draymond thing, so I think he's going to be better. I think James Wiseman finally gets to be healthy.
Yes,
which is also kind of because he's also had these injury things going on before the NBA. So you're alarmed about that. But if you have no pressure on you and you can come in, catch lobs from from Steph and Draymond. Just be the role man, being a dunker spot. I think you can put up an easy 15 points a game or whatever. So
Easy.
I think, and I also like Steph to compete for MVP again.
Okay. Okay.
But if not, you're in the running for scoring title.
Yeah.
He was in the scoring title race until like the injuries came about and stuff like that. Now you don't got to worry about the 3-point record to chase.
Yeah, you already got that. Yeah, easy.
And then what you got?
You said Nuggets was the first. Nuggets, I got my thoughts, but go ahead. Nuggets was the first.
So I weigh the same thing, right? When I talk about the injury thing, you kind of consider that with the Nuggets. So if all things go right, I can see Nuggets finishing one. And I can see Jokic having another season where he's at like 28, 13,
easy.
and 8. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once again, you're forcing your way into the MVP conversation.
Yep.
But if you finish with the best record in the league with those numbers, I think you're kind of forcing our hands to give it to you.
I get you.
In a way, unless somebody else has another stellar stat line. But yeah, I think that what we're seeing from Michael Porter Jr., even in these preseason games, is that he's a shooter, he's a sniper that he's always been. I think if he throws in some defense, knowing that like he's got to prove he got the bag. Now you got to kind of prove you're deserving of it. I think Jamal Murray's health is a scare for me though, because he just got injured again. And I think the same knee he had the ACL tear. If you can be healthy though, you're gonna win games for them. True. When Jokic is being defended some type of way, you're gonna hit some big shots. So I think they come to play. I don't think the Nuggets or the Suns make it to the conference finals though. And I think that's interesting.
Okay. All right. Keep going. Intriguing me. Who would make it then to the conference finals?
I think. Actually, let's put the Nuggets back up there. So maybe Nuggets can speak in just because they should have an easier road. But they're running into potentially the Grizzlies. The Pelicans.
Possibly Lakers in there. Yeah.
Possibly Lakers.
Yeah.
Maybe the Clippers, because if you're saying, I think I could pencil Clippers in for 4 or 5. So that 1-4 matchup is there. So I think you just have a case where you're running into a team that, if they're healthy, they can beat you as well.
Yeah. All right. Let me start with your third. The third was who was your third again?
The Suns. The disappointing Suns.
Look at those Suns. I think. Oh, so let me give you my 3 first. Let me go through first.
Okay.
First, I have Suns on number 1. I have Suns number 1.
So you're not mad. I mean, yeah.
No, I'm not mad, but I'm not expecting. If that makes sense. I got Suns number 1. I have Warriors number 2, and I have Clippers number 3. Let me start with the Warriors because I feel like we're on the same page. They have the potential to run it back again. I don't think it's a lot of teams are going to beat them. I think Draymond has to prove this year that he is the same guy that he was in 15, 16, 17. Year. He is not produced that way. And as a matter of fact, if he didn't produce in game 6, we were going to look at him and say, why are you still on this team? Because he was trash in the finals.
For sure.
He was for sure trash. But we know he'll probably be the Hall of Famer. We know who he is. He hasn't been that in the last couple of years. So he has to prove this year, especially after sucker punching Jordan Poole, which, being from Baltimore, that was a sucker punch. That was not a square up.
Yeah,
that was a sucker punch.
We're all on the same page.
Okay, as long as we're on the same page. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, I think that was.
Yeah, I was about to say his mom still like tried to argue it last week.
No, sweetheart, no, that was a sucker punch. But yeah, so I think they have. I think Wiseman coming back is a big piece for them. He doesn't have to be who he was in college. He doesn't have to be a star at all. He can be literally the second Wiggins. Just be there, be a key piece, and do what you're supposed to do, and be defensively who we need you to be. You're there for us.
To be honest, a third Wiggins, because you got Kuminga right there doing the same thing.
Oh wow! I keep forgetting about Kuminga because he didn't have a big piece. I think Kuminga will probably step up to he has to, but I think you're totally right. I forgot about that. He could be the third Wiggins, which is weird to say that, but yes. So I think they make it to the conference finals. I just think it's going to be hard. I think Klay gets better. I think Klay gets back to who he probably should have been at this point, because last year when he came back, he wasn't all the way. I think he'll be back to the Splash Brother again.
Yeah.
I remember he got upset because 2K put him down in like the 80s for three-point shooting.
Rating, yeah.
I'm like, bro, calm down. You're still one of the best shooters. It's like, calm down, bro. You're
You're
not
about to be
Steph.
a
But
splash uncle.
yeah,
Jordan Poole about to take over that.
you're still in the family. Even if Jordan
Uh,
Poole, the younger, cooler guy, gets a better rating, it's okay. So and then you have Jordan Poole, who
yeah.
is is the next star in this league. I think he's
Okay.
not. I don't think he's a star yet. I think to me, I think he is becoming a star.
Okay.
I think he's becoming a star. He has a bag. He got a jumper, and he got the confidence of a light skinned guy with wearing polo in the summertime. Confidence.
Yep.
I just don't think he's a star yet in this league.
Agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. 100% agree. I do want to say, yeah, 100% agree. I just realized Draymond probably just made this career, like Jordan Poole's career, a lot better than it could have been. Because it's just
right
like
up.
you have everyone on your side at this point.
Everybody's on your side right now.
And then I don't know if you saw that clip from last week, at like the game after that fight,
yeah,
where he hitched that against the Lakers, he hitched the behind the back, around the world, and it's just like you're just going to keep doing that. And I don't know if anyone. I think Kyrie's the only person I can think
that can
of
do that. Yes,
who's doing that. You know what I'm saying? And it's coming that naturally. So
yes, he's and no, I was gonna say something crazy, but I'm not gonna do that. Nope.
Do it. Hey,
I was gonna compare best package right now when it came to like in the whole Jordan Poole against Kyrie. I still think Kyrie has a package though. I think Kyrie still got it. But in the future though, if I just say Jordan Poole, I'm up on Jordan Poole.
I'm up a lot of.
I'm up on Jordan Poole. Yeah, I think he's going to be a key piece. The Suns are going to be the Suns. I think they're a regular season team. They're going to win a lot of games. Like you said, they're going to work hard for respect, not for wins. They need to be respected, and the only way they get respect is if they win a chip.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody can respect them anymore in the regular season. They are Peyton Manning. They are the key. They're going to win the games. Omaha. I'm going to win. I'm going to get touchdown. Yeah. But I'm not going to get the championship. And I keep falling short. The only way the Suns get my respect, and probably the respect of a lot of people, is if they win the chip. And I don't know if I can trust them to beat a Denver team if Murray stays healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know. In the playoffs, I don't know if they can win. It's going to be tough against the Grizzlies. I don't know. Like it's, and then I definitely don't think they can beat the Warriors. I think mentally the Warriors scare them. I think so. That's personally, but yeah. And so you got them, the Clippers. That's a team I think that will face the Warriors in the Western Conference.
Okay.
I think the Clippers have a stacked. Their depth is crazy to me. I think they have literally they have two starting lineups. Now one's going to be a bad lineup, but off the bench they're great.
Yeah.
I think Kawhi and PG. I've always loved PG. I think Kawhi and PG will be great coming back this year. And you have to insert John Wall. I'm okay with them off the bench for Reggie Jackson. I get that. I totally get that. Reggie, for some strange reason, when he left OKC and Russ stopped slapping him around, I think he became another person. Like he's just like a beast now for some reason, or at least like a really good player.
And then don't let the Clippers face the Lakers because Reggie Jackson becomes freaking Michael Jordan.
He becomes he gives Russ the blues, and I laugh every time.
Yeah,
but so the Clippers have a legitimate chance to really do something. So I think those are my three. Again, my dark horse against the Pelicans are the Pelicans. Memphis, I think, is going to struggle this year because they're going to be the ones that everybody is going to target. Ja Morant is my man. Hey, I'm in Tennessee now, so I'm definitely going to see a couple of games. I'm going to see that. I'm going to take my son. Hey, you see that boy right there? That boy's a beast.
Should go to opening night, man. Tickets are like $7.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh shoot!
I might send that to you.
Yeah, send that through. I may go. But yeah, bro. So hey, listen. So I'm like, okay. You want the smoke? Y'all say that until you actually get the smoke, and because now teams are like, oh, you want it? Okay. Every team has Memphis circled on their calendar now.
Agreed.
They're going to bring it. So It's
How you feel about the Timberwolves?
they will make the playoffs,
Uh-huh.
but their whole thing about championship and bust, no, that was
Yeah,
not
come on.
you weren't championship before, so
Yeah,
this is making championship now. I do
yeah.
think it makes them better.
Okay, fair.
I think it makes them better. I think any rebounding defensive guy makes you better.
Hmm.
And it definitely spaces Carl Towns out. He could definitely get out a little bit more. I
Yeah.
just don't like him defending up there.
Nope.
When you have to make him defend out there, it is horrible to see.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes them worse defensively, but I do
Right.
know, man. Offensively, I
Hmm.
like spacing Carl Anthony Towns out. It makes him have to work hard defensively. And he is. I saw a couple of preseason games where I'm looking at Cat and I'm like, bro, he looks lost out there. And if you get a good point power forward that takes him out there and it takes him back in, it's a wrap. It's not happening. So I think they make the playoffs. I think an early exit.
Okay.
Early exit. Even though I like D'Lo too. I think he's so
Hmm.
underrated. I like D'Lo, man. I think he's so underrated, man. He's not Devin Booker, but I
Yeah.
think he's right there under there. I think he's right there under Booker.
That's high praise. I think D'Lo's kind of very polarizing because I
Yeah.
think with the Nets and the Warriors, those 2 seasons, he
Mm-hmm.
was really good, right?
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
a 50-pointer in Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
I think that unfortunately for him, he's come to a situation in Minnesota. There's so
Mm.
many moving parts, and his role has had to change so many different times. At
Okay.
some
Respect
point
that.
last season, we're talking about the Timberwolves having one of the best defenses.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because of Patrick Beverly, but it was because D'Lo was your now turnstile Draymond type of quarterback on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
People won't respect that. I got flagged for talking about it because people didn't understand what I was talking about. But yeah, so he's definitely polarized because I think he's so inefficient at times.
Yeah, I get that. I get
But he
that.
can score in every way, in every position he can score, and he can play make really well. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's a quality like guard in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like him. I like him. Last
Yeah,
team in the West before we do our picks. Um, OKC. They're a very strategic team to me. They're not going to. I'm not saying to do anything. Your face blew up like, whoa, what?
I don't
No.
know because I had another team in mind.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me
So,
let me give you OKC. OKC real quick. And I think OKC they're not going to make any noise. I'm not saying they're going to be
uh-huh.
a pick or anything like that. I just think two things happen next year, and this is maybe just hot takes for me.
Mm,
Russell Westbrook comes up from the Lakers. He
okay.
needs someone to pick him up.
Uh-huh.
What's the only team that's loved him from the beginning, like a mother whose child ran away from home, and they're saying, "Come back to us because whatever you do, whatever you wear, we love you."
Mm-hmm.
What team is
Mm-hmm.
that for Russell Westbrook?
But OKC,
OKC.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
OKC. What is the one thing the OKC does not have on their bench or on their roster? They don't have experience.
Yeah.
So if you need one person to come in and just be a little bit of a dog who's loved but has also experience, and then you partner him with a Shy, Giddy, Chet, and
Yeah.
Victor, possibly. Just saying. The
Even if it's not Victor, if it's Scoot
even
and you
if
have
it's
four in the backcourt, yeah. Go ahead.
that's a yeah, it was cool. Like that's an interesting, fun team that,
Yeah.
Russ is not going to be there for long. I mean, he could retire 2 years if he wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
but you have him there. Let him like really get them boys into work ethic, understand the game, like how to attack
Mm-hmm.
certain things. And then those boys grow up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a squad.
Cool.
Like I like Scoop there. Like I like Scoop there. I think he would be great. But Chet comes back next year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my OKC thought. What's your team?
I like it. I like it. I'm big on the OKC. I'm big on Shy and
Mm-hmm.
big on Giddy. So I love those guys. Sacramento Kings.
Whoa. Okay.
One of my former coworkers, he just left our company. Is a big Kings fan. But yeah, Mike Brown, the Warriors defensive coach who just got
True.
hired in
Yeah, that's true.
Sacramento. The story on him is that whenever he's coached, I think it's either he's never missed a playoff or like his team has never finished outside like the top 10 defensively.
Wow. Okay.
And
Okay.
so I think that from a defensive standpoint, you find a way to make it work in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
They look completely different than what they look like now.
Very much.
Uh, and this is a year that De'Aaron Fox or Sabonis. I think De'Aaron more likely because I think he has a lot more folks just rooting for him.
Mm-hmm.
Becomes an all-star. Sabonis has been an all-star, so
Whoa.
it's not. But I think if he and it might be off of a injury replacement, but
Okay.
at
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that conversation.
Yeah.
I think just because he went his best seasons, he's averaging 25, 26.
Yeah.
And I think
True.
it's just
True.
it's the way he takes. I think he grinds enough that he becomes a better shooter,
Mm-hmm.
takes it up, and so I would like to see them vie for at least get into the play-ins at the very least.
Okay. Okay.
At the
Okay.
very least, but I could see them being our AC in the West.
De'Aaron Fox. I think he's probably the one guy who has been hidden and tucked away in the NBA. We forgot who he was in Kentucky. Like that boy can shoot. He could play. He could play. I'm just like ever since he came to the league and he got thrown into the abyss of Sacramento, it's you forgot about him, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right.
And Sabonis too, yeah. All-star. I think
It's gonna be tough.
He's in the West where there's a lot of guards.
Yeah.
This guard heavy. I can think of three right now who would start over him, just guards. But I kind of feel like he's in the same boat as Dame, where you're in a wrong conference for as a guard to be a mediocre guard. Like either you're hot or you're not that. So yeah, okay, I can respect that, but I can respect that. All right, prediction time. It's time.
All right,
James,
man.
it's time, bro.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go down the list. We're gonna go best record.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do MVP.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna do we'll throw in there defensive player of the year.
Okay.
Then we're gonna go our championship teams. Who's in?
Okay.
Who's not? Who wins?
Okay.
All right. Let's start with the best record in the East. Who you got?
I got the 76ers.
Okay. How many wins you think?
63.
Ooh, that's big. Okay, that's big. You up hard like that? 63? Okay.
If they're all healthy, I just think that the regular season, those are all safe, man.
Yeah.
So let me cut down to 61. But yeah, but I can see a 61 season for them.
I got you. In the East,
by the way,
go ahead.
Sorry, because Philly teams right now, like all Philly sports teams, except for the Flyers.
Yeah.
I'm big Philly guy on everything except the 76ers. But Philly's, we're come on.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Union for like soccer has been the best in that league. What's another? I think this is a year for Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Like, Eagles are 6-0. So that's something that I don't know. There's a little magic going on in that city of brotherly love right now. So.
It's a little magic. I am not that high on the 76ers. It's probably because of past years. That's respect. But best record in the East. Until someone tells me otherwise, I got the Nets.
Okay.
I think it's going to be like a 55, 56 top. I think the East is going to be tough. Yeah. I think it's going to be a lot of teams vying for that 4 through 7, 4 through 8. It's going to be nasty in there. But I think the Nets. I'm high on Ben Simmons. I really am. But I think they got it. All right, Western Conference. I'll start first. I have the Suns. I just think they're just a really good team. I mean, regular season. I got them at 60 wins.
Okay. I got the Nuggets at 58.
Okay. And I too am scared of Murray. Not of Murray, but for Murray. I'm scared because I think he's an amazing player that needs to be playing basketball, not because of the team needs him or whatever. I hope he gets fully better. Like that's my hope for that. Okay, so Suns Nuggets. You said and Nets and the who'd you say the
I said Nets and 76ers.
76ers. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who is in the Eastern Conference Finals? Jews.
Let's go, Bucks. I'm gonna be a homer and pick my Heat. Everyone's down on us, but I think the playoffs all will be really different. Playoffs God did, you know what I'm saying? But playoffs always reveal a different animal. I think that Jimmy Butler continues to prove that he's a top 10 player when it matters. And I think that Bam, when it matters. I'm not talking like the entire package.
Okay.
The playoff Jimmy is
Playoff Jimmy is another level.
it's
Yes.
a whole nother monster. So I think that
Yes,
when it
that's true.
matters, we were one shot. You can't be mad at the shot he took in
I
game
can be
7
mad.
last
Yo,
year.
no.
You can be mad, bro.
I can be
I
mad at his
can't be
shot.
mad.
I can. Okay. All right. I'm not doing. Jew, you don't take a three in that. No, you don't take that three. No, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. I'm watching.
He doesn't take a three.
Okay, better yet, right? He doesn't take a three. I'm watching the game and I'm saying to myself, he got the rebound. Oh, he got the rebound. Jimmy, no.
It should have been a layup.
I was like,
it should have been.
get the layup, bro. Just
get foul.
Thank you. Go get foul.
Or
don't shoot that three, bro. No.
Yeah.
I was like,
I can't be mad.
You just saved Tatum's reputation because you shot that three. That's what you did.
Yeah.
So
oh yeah.
Okay, I get you. So Bucks and Heat, of course, I'm a Bucks fan. So Bucks, I got the Bucks.
I got Bucks winning now.
Okay.
So
that's your East. That's your East. Okay. I have for the East for me, I have the Bucks and the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks because I think, like you said, Chris Middleton will be an accelerator for them. I think they're going to jump off and get crazy after the All-Star break. The Nets because I do not see a team really beating them in the 7-game series. I just think they're just going to be stacked. I think they're going to be crazy. So that's my East. Western Conference. I'll start. I have the Warriors and the Clippers in the Western Conference. I think it's going to be. I think that's going to be a fun series for me personally to watch because I really want to see how John Wall, who I think is going to get gassed halfway through the season because it's been a while. It's going to be good to see him try something different, like and try to be somewhere he hasn't been before. So that's my West.
I like it. Let's go Warriors and Mavericks. Last season's repeat, and here's why. Here's why.
Okay.
Here's why. So I'm as big a fan of Luka as I am a fan of Giannis, and I'm really high on those two guys.
Okay.
And so the team, to most people, did not necessarily get better. I think that they pull off a really good size trade mid-season. But I also think that even how they're currently constructed, with JaVale McGee and Christian Woods being I think that creates the element that Luka hasn't had, right? So you've had your lob threat in Maxi Kleber and stuff like that, but you haven't had a lob threat that can also defend, like rim run, but also rim protect, and that's JaVale McGee. You also have a scorer in Christian Woods who's going to catch a lob, but he's also going to shoot out 4-3, whatever it is, a diverse scorer. And I think that Luka now has a team that allows him to be fully heliocentric. And when he does need to be off ball, you can trust a Dinwiddie a little bit to play make for you. So I think that if this works, this is really a shot in the dark, but things just fall in the right place for them. I think that Warriors win that though, 4-1 or 4-0. But I do think that a taste, unlike Trae Young, and Trae Young had his own situation last year with the Hawks. Unlike Trae Young, Luka Doncic is only going to get better from that adversity that they faced against the Warriors. And so that's a random one, but I'm gonna run with it.
I fear that the loss of Brunson, though, again, we talked before, I don't know who he was before that series with the Suns. I think that loss actually hurts them. I think Dinwiddie is great. I think he was awesome with the Nets. I think he was great when he got picked up. I don't know if giving him more makes them better. I still think I think that Luka needs another star running mate to actually be. Well, we can't say he got his conference last year, so I won't say he needs to win, but I think he needs to get past whoever he's facing in that Western Conference. All right, championship.
I got Warriors Bucks.
Warriors Bucks. Okay. I
want you to be stronger on your Bucks.
Listen. I'm very strong on my Bucks. I am. I respect them. I love the Joe Ingles pickup. I know when Chris comes back, it's going to be even better for them. Giannis is just Giannis. I just think mine. I'm sorry, just so you know, is I think the Nets beat the Bucks in the Eastern Conference. I just think they have something to prove, and they want to go back after them again. So I have the Warriors and the Nets in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
so you don't have the Clippers beating.
No, I changed it. We talked earlier. Here's why. Here's why. I'm just thinking about all the pieces that they have, like they have ready, the Warriors. And I also remember one thing that the Warriors have that Clippers don't in those times: experience.
Yeah.
The one reason why they beat the Celtics and was experience. Like I think the Celtics were a better team in the finals.
Sure.
Me personally.
Sure.
Experience beat them.
Yeah.
I think this. I think yes, you have Kawhi who does have experience. PG doesn't. John Wall doesn't. Batum doesn't. Like the other guy don't have experience when it gets conference finals and finals. That matters. That whole squad of the Warriors, besides Wiseman, possibly has experience. Like it's real. Yeah. So I did have, for those who are watching, I did have the Clippers in our pre-talk. I did have the Clippers and the Nets, but I think as I talk, the Warriors just feel better. Yeah. And all right, who's your championship pick? You gave me your pick. Who's your championship pick?
I think
who's winning the chip next year? Golden State. Okay.
I think but I mean, part of that is my bias in wanting the legacy of Steph to kind of grow. I also wouldn't be mad if the Bucks won, right? Good. Because I also care about Giannis's legacy. But I think Giannis's legacy is a lot more permeable right now.
Yes.
So you go 1-1 in a finals appearance. Nobody.
You're okay.
You went up against a potentially top 10 player all time and stuff. So I'm going with the Warriors on this one.
Is Steph top 10 to you?
Oh yeah, he's top 10, man.
He's top 10 to me too.
I can get blasphemous, but there's arguments to be made for a lot of things for Steph. And so here's the easiest thing.
Okay, go ahead.
So, because depending on how high you see Magic Johnson, and a lot of these, because Magic is as high as 4 for a lot of people in the top 10. It's also most people's best point guard all time.
Point guard of all time, yeah.
Steph's better to me. He might not necessarily be greater in a sense of what Magic had accomplished.
Okay, accomplishments. Okay, yeah.
But I think better ways in one way. I think that right now I have Steph as high. Like, depending on how early or how late the day is, Steph could be as high as 5 for me on all-time top 10, and as low as 8.
Wow.
But I think he's over Hakeem, who I love. He's over
Hakeem for me, yes.
He's over Shaq, who I love as well.
No. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I think the next hurdle for him is he's over Larry Bird as well for me. So because one of those, between those three, one of those drop out. I don't believe that Wilt was a real person. So I don't ever consider him. Bill Russell, with all love and respect to him, it's kind of hard to also keep him in this top 10 conversation. I think there's a grandfather kind of element for guys like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain.
Sure, absolutely.
But I'm also a guy who has Kareem potentially in the top 2 over LeBron, depending on how you choose to view it. So
here's my question, and this is we'll go back to the championship though. Dwayne Wade said in an interview, it's time for us to stop thinking that the Mount Rushmore has to be 4 people. We have to make another hit. I thought that was the most blasphemous thing you can say about greatness. Here's why.
Really?
Mount Rushmore has 4 hits. 4 hits. 4 presidents currently are on Mount Rushmore. I don't know who they are, but I'm sure they're very important people.
Yeah.
It's only 4. To add another and to say, no, we're just going to add more, a 5th one, now nullifies the integrity of the purpose why they made the Mount Rushmore in the first place. It was to honor the 4 greatest presidents that lived. Now, you can say what you want. Now, as far as the top 10 of all time, the top 10 of all time is not comparable or does not compare to the Mount Rushmore because this is carved in stone. This is in our minds. This can always change.
Okay.
So in my mind, you can always say he's on a Mount Rushmore. That just says what other 3 are. Not who are the other 5 or 6 that you want to add. Because here's the thing: when it's all said and done, if LeBron's not in somebody's top 4, that means you got to add another head. And when somebody else comes, let's say Victor has a 20-year career and it's amazing. Another head. And now all these heads, and that's not fair to what it really means to be on a Mount Rushmore of people. Now, I have Steph in my top 10. I think he kicked out Hakeem for me.
Okay.
Hakeem was in my top 10. I think he's now 11. I think Steph to me is 10. He does not go above 8. I have Shaq as a top 5 of all time. I don't think there was any person any more dominant in any position besides him, except for I think Steph was dominant just behind the arc. I think they're equally as dominant, different spaces.
Yeah.
So for me, that's how I see it. I just don't think that's fair to do it that way. Like, what are your thoughts? Because I heard that said, and I was like, I don't like that too much.
So I can be as high as 5 for Shaq as well.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think what you just kind of mentioned about the Mount Rushmore is that I don't foresee one. It's a man-made construct, right?
True, very true.
Which I also don't see there ever being updates to it, no matter how bad these presidents actually were.
Okay,
we're not going to. The United States isn't going to allow themselves to adjust, and so. To that standpoint, I think that Mount Rushmore, if we're going to say that they are set in stone, LeBron would force an addition, right? Because if whenever we started talking Mount Rushmore, we were looking at Jordan, Kareem, Larry, and Bird, or Jordan, Kareem, Russell, and Larry or Bird, probably Larry and Bird are the same people, but Magic Bird.
Magic Bird,
yeah. And so, I think LeBron forces that conversation open, right? I think that someone like LeBron or the potential of what Victor could end up becoming force that conversation open because it's all just stone at the end of the day. And so you can add to that. But I would like to wager that if you're considering a Mount Rushmore, it just has to be 4 of the most impactful as opposed to 4 of the best. Because I think that like 4 of the best is cool, but it's just always going to change. It's always going to be some. In fact, you want it to change, right? Like I was rooting for LeBron to be better than Jordan.
Everybody was at one point. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I would rather 4 of the most impactful because I think that after a while you close the door for who can be in that conversation.
Yeah, I do think that changes too because impactful for me. Steph is in there. Kareem is in there.
Sure.
Allen Iverson's in there.
But impact-wise, what was the impact as opposed to what was the influence?
He influenced culturally what it meant to be a basketball player for African American men from the inner city.
But not impact on the game.
So you're talking about basketball impact. Okay, respect.
Yeah.
Okay. I can look at it differently and say just as much impact as Steph has 3-pointer, I can say it was equals impact as Allen Iverson had culturally. That's me personally, but I get what you're saying.
Okay.
So if it's impact in that way, Steph, Hakeem, I think MJ.
Okay.
I think MJ, and then I think Kareem. I think those 4 are the 4 most impactful people basketball. And the reason why I say Hakeem brought something defensively that we hadn't seen in decades. That was just different. Yeah. Steph made little kids start shooting 3-pointers when they were wide open for layups. Hakeem, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the hook shot became became an emblem for NBA at one point.
Yes.
And Michael Jordan was just Michael Jordan. Like he was, I think he was impactful both places. He transcended that.
Yeah.
So I think those 4 people to me are the most impactful on the court. If you want to start talking about impact in culture, there's different. Then you got to put LeBron James, Allen Iverson. You're saying something. I get what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying. All right. Okay. So champions, you said the Warriors is your champion next year, right?
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. I say Warriors too. Here's my last question about the season, and then we got to go MVP. LeBron 4, Steph 5. At some point, we have to say that Stephen Curry is a better basketball player or a more accomplished basketball player than LeBron James. I don't care if LeBron passes this Kareem. I mean, this Kareem number by midway of the year. Which, if he does, I will pay money for that ticket. I hope it's somewhere in Nashville or Tennessee. I will go to that game.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But if he passes him, that's one thing. I think that just solidifies LeBron as top 3 of all time, personally. Because that's just crazy. That's crazy. But if Steph gets 5, LeBron 4, where does that put Steph? And honestly, he could get 6 and 7 because that team is not going down anytime soon. Where does that put Steph in regard to LeBron and all-time greatness?
I think Steph is a LeBron conversation, and LeBron's all-time like standing so hard to kind of because with Jordan, you had essentially 10 seasons of outright dominance.
Yeah,
easy. Two before you won a chip. You had the 1.5 where you were away, and then you came back, right? So, I think that there was kind of unparalleled greatness for Jordan. Unfortunately for LeBron, he's met challenge. He's met opposition. And so he's never been, for a lot of people, he's been the best player for, better part of a decade, but it's never been unchallenged. And I think Steph has just challenged him, and Steph has done so quietly. But in the last decade, Steph has 4 rings to LeBron's 1. I think yeah, because we're in 2022.
We're 22 years, 4 last 10 years.
You know what I'm saying? So 4 to 1. I think that like it's hard because I think that they're tied now. Whereas if you elevate LeBron, you kind of almost have to elevate Steph in that same conversation. But if you elevate Steph, you can decrease LeBron. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. You have to explain it to me because I get what you're saying. I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know about decreasing LeBron. That's weird to me.
But in the sense that, so if LeBron's number 2 or 3, LeBron's not a etched in. We can never scratch this name out. It's etched in stone 2 or 3, or some folks have him as 1. But if a guy in your era in what was supposed to be on 2K now. 2K23 it just came out. They have whenever you want to do like a my league mode, you get to choose which era you want to start in.
Oh yeah.
And you get I think they called it the Bird and Magic era, the Jordan era, the Kobe era, and now the current era was supposed to be LeBron's era. It doesn't just get to be LeBron's era; it gets to be LeBron and Curry's era. And so I think that because Magic and Bird are also tied at the hip at that same way. I personally think Bird was a better player, but Magic is the greater, holistically Magic is greater because he won more. Just more things attached to his name. I think here it's LeBron had someone just as great as him. And so
that's tough to say, man.
It's just as great as far as winning, right? Like even the Kobe era can't really be the Kobe era because Tim Duncan won just as much.
He won 5, absolutely.
And Tim Duncan is someone we kind of tend to forget who probably should be as high as
That's true.
That list.
That's true.
But yeah, so I think that Steph, though, unlike Tim, has made noise in the sense that he's won the MVPs. He's got this scoring title in I think 4,003 or 4,000 all-time threes. It's just as loud as 36,000 points.
No,
Maybe
I
not.
don't know
Maybe
about
not
that.
because
Yeah,
but it's 4,000 in a very short span of time. You change the era.
sure.
You change the era for how like these threes were like. You went from 10 threes a game per team to 10 threes a game per
Per person almost.
person. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, I get you.
And so there's an impact. So I don't know if I can give a clear cut answer.
Yeah,
But 5 rings to LeBron's 4, if that happens, I think you kind of got it. Someone won more than you in your 20 years. That shouldn't be the case for a top 3 player.
I, I think it should be said, and I agree with you. I don't fully agree that 4,003 is equal to 36,000 points. I don't
Maybe
agree with
not.
that. I think 36,000 was such a coveted thing. I know people were saying no one's going to ever reach Ray Allen, but people said even more, no one's going to reach Kareem.
No, you're right.
So, to me, I think Kareem's was the most unattainable,
Mm-hmm.
and LeBron for 20 years, 18 of those years was dominating the league. Maybe 17, to be respectful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was dominant. He didn't win You're not going to win 17 rings, but
Mm-hmm.
win more than 4. Yeah, you should. I think you should win more than 4. But
Mm-hmm.
I think Steph Curry can go 20 years and probably get 2 more rings after in 2 or 3 more rings. I think that I really believe that.
Yeah.
I don't know if LeBron can do that.
Yeah.
But it's 2 different players, 2 different positions, 2 different style of play. And they had 2 different team kind of structures. You got the
Mm-hmm.
Warriors that are they just knew how to put the team together.
Mm-hmm.
And they were lucky. I mean, not lucky, but they got Clay, they got
Yeah.
Draymond, and for 10 years they dominated. As a
Mm-hmm.
trio, they dominated. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think Steph wins 4 of those rings if Clay and Draymond were not on that team.
Yeah.
Personally,
I agree.
That's my thought.
I agree.
Okay, let's wrap it up. MVP next year. MVP. Who you got?
I got 3 names. I can't decide on one. I got Jokic, I got Giannis, and I got Luka. I love the international wave here.
It's killing, right? It's killing. Yeah.
Let's get Luka number 1.
Luka number 1. Okay. I got Giannis. I'm partial, so I think Giannis will have to do. He'll have to do a lot in the beginning to keep them relevant.
Yeah.
I think that will show. I think their record will be good. Last thoughts, man. Year starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
We laid it all out. We both think the Warriors got the championship. We say it's going to be some good competition in the East, crazy in the West. Give me one thing to wrap it up the season, man.
Hey, don't sleep on the Heat. Don't sleep. And I want to say it's not going to sound unbiased.
Okay.
But don't sleep on Bam winning Defense Player of the Year this year. I think the arguments were made. I think I don't know where you stand on Marcus Smart winning it last year, but
there were a lot of different awards that should have been different people. I think, including the most improved player should not have been John Morant. I'm sorry, that was just a weird win to that.
Mm-hmm.
John Morant was an MVP candidacy. I don't know why he got most improved. Anyway, but yes, there were a lot of different ones that kind of went weird to me last year.
Mm-hmm. So I would have Bam is my defensive player of the year, just also because he's made noise about it. So I think that people kind of are forced to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that versatility wise, he's there alongside Giannis and Draymond.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the Heat are just going to be a team that everybody sleeps on. I'm also excited to see when Draymond, like just Draymond's podcast and how he talks about everything that happened this season.
Yes, sir.
Because so let's do it.
I'm excited to see how this podcast goes if they start losing. I just want to see how that should
be. The Warriors?
The Warriors. If something happens and they start going south, I want to see how that podcast goes. It's going to be a great year. Listen, I'm a Bucks man, so go Bucks all day. I think the Nets are going to be the best team, maybe not in the league, but I think the Nets are going to really surprise people. I think KD and Kyrie are going to find a way to get some therapy, some couples therapy, and get it working. I think Ben Simmons is going to show. I think he may be an all-star this year coming up. That's a thought. And I think the Lakers, they'll be fun to watch. I'll just say that. Again, Russ is not the problem. He's the issue. He's an issue, not the reason why they're losing.
Got you.
And of course, LeBron, year 20. Shout out to all 37-year-olds. He is doing it for us because I don't know how.
37.
37. That's why he don't have as many rings as possibly as as Steph.
Amen.
But man, James, yo, I appreciate you, man. This was a fun talk, man. It's good talking basketball with somebody who knows about basketball, bro.
Thanks. No offense, kids. no offense, kids.
Oh my goodness, man. Thank y'all so much for looking at application. We appreciate you guys. As usual, subscribe and like to the channel. We will see you guys next week and enjoy the NBA season. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. Of course, all Heats fans and Bucks fans are welcome. Anybody else, go to another page. We appreciate you. Love you guys. Peace out.
Have a nice meal.